say you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence to come to your door. Because now it's Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador. How many more? Tell me now. How
Welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. My name is Brother Frank, and I'm part of the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. I'm the chairperson of the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. Today is day 26 of Women's History Month. Today we recognize Fannie Lou Hamer, right? On this particular platform, we talk about Fannie Lou Hamer, who was committed the most of her life to the freedom of our people, our right to be self-determined. Fannie Lou Hamer, her life was incredible. She was born a sharecropper, right? And that was in 1917. She was born to a very large family. And then 1945, she was the timekeeper. 1962, because I just want to go give you an idea of who she was and what she did and why she did what she did. So in 1962, she became involved with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She met with police resistance, police pushback and discrimination for wanting to be able to vote, right? She had to deal with discriminatory literacy tests. She survived 16 drive-by shootings. Just think about that. And this was in 1962. So she survived these drive-by shootings and she committed herself to doing that work. I think that when we talk about that and talk about her life to survive those things and not give up, that says a lot about who she is. That reminds us of her legacy, her importance, and the fact that, you know, we need to recognize what she did and why she did what she did. And so in 1963, she was organizing her community even after brutal police beating, which left her with some serious lifelong injuries. And I think that when we talk about what she had to endure and the fact that she did endure that, we need to show her a whole bunch of respect. And that respect should be manifested in the work that we decide we're going to do today in 2025, right? We recognize what's going on in Palestine. We recognize what's going on in the United States. We recognize what our African brothers are going through because of this Trump era that's existing. And we have to ask ourselves, what would our examples, the examples of people like Fannie Lou Hamer do? What would she do? What would she stand for? And then we to show our respect. And in 1964, she ran a campaign for Congress, right? Even though it didn't come out the way that she wanted it to turn out, she didn't give up. She knew that she had to continue to fight. She had to do something. She had to stand up. In 1965, you know, Lyndon Johnson signs the Voting Rights Act into law, but she didn't get relaxed. She committed herself to continuing the fight. She was very committed. And I think that, you know, one of the reasons that we bring up people like Fannie Lou Hamer is that we have to study our history. We have to study our past. We have to start recognizing that we have to make a certain level of sacrifices when we're going to talk about freeing our political prisoners, doing that serious work. that much needed work. For instance, Mumia Abu Jamal, his birthday is next month. They'll have their annual celebration and recognition of him, and they'll continue that campaign. And when I say them, I'm talking about grassroots organizations that are fighting for his freedom, that are fighting for him not to die in prison. So we have enough time to prepare ourselves to make time to be a part of this continuous work. In 1960, in 1969, right? Fannie Lou Hamer did not give up. She created Freedom Farms, an agricultural and economic development project to support impoverished Black families. That one holds dear to me. I currently work for a nonprofit organization that gives food to a number of families free. And I think that, that allows me to understand the love and the passion that Fannie Lou Hamer had, right, to be able to focus on these farms. And her sharecropping background, she know the value of the land. So I know that in 2025, when we go in our Black communities and we look at the reduction of Black people in our communities, we start to understand that there is a process taking place. This process, they want us to accept as gentrification, as, the process of progress, but in actuality, is ethnic cleansing. We're being ethnically removed from our community. Fannie Lou Hamer was serious about standing to injustices, and obviously, ethnic cleansing, gentrification is indeed an injustice. And she didn't stand for it. She was a Christian. She was a woman of faith, but she knew that, you had to get into action. You had to get into motion. You had to organize the people. You could pray, but for so long, but at some point, you're going to have to take some serious action. And that can be transferred over into 2025. You have the Ramadan is happening. So, we call upon the Islamic community to stand up, to fight, to get involved in the fight, the struggle to free Imam Jamil Al-Amin. This brother is going through a very serious health crisis with his battle against cancer. He's in his 4th stage. And the Islamic community, amongst other communities of faith, needs to ask themselves, what does this mean? To know that somebody is going through this unfortunate situation. Why is it happening now? Why is it taking up so much time? What does it say about us if this brother does not come home, right? We have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we doing to change this narrative? What are we doing to bring this brother home? Are we not doing enough? Are we even involved? If we're not involved, why not? In 1971, Fannie Lou co-founded the National Women's Political Caucus. So she knew that she had to take certain action during certain times to raise awareness to her people. She's focusing on women, letting them know their value to being organized, letting them know that they have a right to be heard. They have a right to take a position, to take a stand on their self-determination. And I think that that is an idea that we need to continue to advocate and move forward. Fannie Lou Hamer demonstrated that to us. And as we look at her body of work and we talk about her, we have to talk about her as it relates to today, right? We have to continue to give her continued value, because people who do their work, whether it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it's documented, right? There's books, there's speeches. You can hear her speech. You can feel her passion. And then you know that that passion and her commitment to that should resonate with you today, because obviously it's an expression of love, right? All these professional revolutionaries are motivated by love. And she was one of them. She was one of them that understood that regardless of what was happening, she's going to be on the side of fighting back, of standing up, of making others conscious about their role as it relates to what's happening. The attack is going on, and that attack only exists because of the level of resistance that's taking place. it might be more work that needs to be done for the oppression to be completely eradicated. So in 1977, at 59, she makes her transition. Hundreds of Mississippi locals, along with dignitaries and prominent civil rights activists, civil rights leaders were present. I think that says a lot about her. She was remembered for her fearless approach to advocacy for Black Americans' right to political participation and social equality. So she was fierce. She didn't fear nothing. She 16 shootouts. Imagine that, 16 shootouts. And that's serious because she knew what was at stake. And I think that was a demonstration of her faith, not only in her God, but also the people, knowing that the people would know that if enough of us are fighting, we're going to have victories. Victories do not occur on their own. Victories only occur by how intense you are demonstrating. And she was famous for a number of quotes, right? And one of her quotes is, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." So I just want us to think about that for a minute. To say that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know that you're frustrated with the current situation and you are determined to eliminate the situation, because the only way you're going to not be sick and tired is to eliminate what's going on that allows you to feel that way. So she knew about white supremacy and how it was working, being from the South, growing up as a sharecropper, seeing her loved ones be a part of that system, knowing that it was because of their labor that others were going to live a different life. And she knew that she was tired of that and she had to do something about that. And so that allowed her to understand what was going on politically and what needed to happen in terms of the relationship between people and power. Another one quote she had was, "Nobody's free until everybody's free." And I think that reminds me of what Dr. Martin Luther King said when he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I think that they're saying the same thing. And I think when we really critically analyze these quotes, we're reminded of their politics, their people politics, them putting themselves behind people and allowing the interests of their people to be first and foremost, because that's the only way that you can withstand a direct attack on your lives. I would think about this the way a parent would think about their child, right? When their child is threatened, their child is about to be harmed, possibly killed. That parent is not thinking about their own safety. I think that's an intense love. I think that Fannie Lou Hamer displayed that intense love. And I think Martin Luther King displayed that intense love. And all those revolutionaries, those professional revolutionaries that decided that they were not going to watch their people continue to be mistreated, that they were going to get involved in a struggle for our self-determination, a struggle that needs some serious participation, some serious analysis, some serious political education. She said also, "You can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap." So I have to say this again because I think this quote is extremely powerful, and I send this quote to those of faith, whether you're Islamic, Judaism, or Christianity. This quote is directed to you, and it's from somebody who is a person of faith. And it says, "You can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap." And if we apply that to today, we know that this attack that's going on, ICE is intimidating people. They have people who are not sure about their status in terms of them being legally here or not, that they're uncomfortable, right? They might not want to go to the doctor's office or the hospital because they're afraid that ICE might come and pick them up. They might be afraid to just participate in any local activities, whether it's a community center or it's a community gathering because ICE might be watching. I know a brother had a conversation with a brother of mine, and the brother asked him where was he from. The brother sounded very agitated, very uncomfortable when answering. And I think that that was a demonstration of the atmosphere, the climate that we're existing in because of Trump. And we have to really look at things as well. This is intense. This is a serious situation, but we must combat that through being organized, being committed to take some action. Just find out what's happening in your community, who's doing what, and participate in it. Make sure that you hold yourself personally accountable. Work with any organization that you can work with. So Fannie Lou Hamer, all the years in her lives, she remained continuous in her work. She knew what needed to be done. And when I think about political prisoners and I think about Fannie Lou Hamer being a political prisoner, I think about in 2025, what would Fannie Lou Hamer do regarding what's happening with our political prisoners? What's happening with Mia Abu Jamal? What's happening with Joy Powell? What's happening with Imam Jamil Al-Amin? What's happening with Kamal Siddiqui? I think that Fannie Lou Hamer would be a part of organized action. She would join those who are doing work. That's why, in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, I provide my contact information because I'm always looking for someone to help advance these ideas to make more people conscious of political prisoners so that they're not forgotten, so that they don't die in prison. Because, like I said before, that what happens if a political prisoner is forgotten and dies in prison? Is that inspiring for the next generation of people who are told that they need to be involved in political affairs? That the only thing that politics and being political means is that you identify the relationship between people and power. Power dictates what's going to happen in your lives each and every day of your life. Politics isn't everything. So don't think that just because you say you're not political or you're not into that political stuff that you're clear, that you are in the safe, that police brutality won't affect you or your children or their children, that everything is okay, everything is all right. That's far from it. But we all have to be educated. And that's why I make my commitment to be on this platform every Wednesday to talk about political prisoners, to visit political prisoners, to organize people to visit political prisoners. Although I am guilty of only seeing Joy Powell, and I need to challenge myself to see others, but like everybody else, I have to work that out in my schedule. But Ronald Reed had wrote me back, and that meant a lot to me. I shared it with a number of people, so I inform the viewers about what's coming up next regarding Ronald Reed having another episode on probably another platform, if not this one, and talk about Ronald Reed and talk about the need to bring him home, talk about what he would like done in terms of support and participation in his campaign. And that work will be taken up by those who are ready to take it up. I know I'm definitely already taking it up, but it's always room for improvement. It's always room for others to aid me, because the more people that aid me, the chances increases of him receiving commutation. So this is very important that we continue to talk about our political prisoners. Right? I say our political prisoners, our fighters for our self-determination. Visited Joy Powell this past Sunday with a young comrade, 20 years old. We had a great time with Joy Powell. We talked. This young comrade actually had not even visited someone in prison, but this was her first time visiting someone in prison. She was not intimidated. She was very excited. It was breathtaking. She was lost. She was lost for words when I asked her about this experience. Her and Joy Powell engaged. He talked. This young comrade let Joy Powell know about what her life has been thus far. Joy Powell let her know about her case and what was going on before her being in prison. Joy Powell, anyone who knows her knows she is brutally honest. That's one of the things I love and respect about Sister Joy Powell. Joy Powell shared with the young comrade her experience, her life, her choices, and how those choices in her life impacted her. But Joy Powell also let us know, us organizers know that, because of her presence in the community of those who are politically conscious, and her being a political prisoner, that she's targeted. She's targeted by staff, by administration. She's targeted by the entire correctional facility because they know that she represents a threat. So we have to keep that in mind. And I think that that is one of the reasons why we must be continuous. We must continue to put pressure on the system to free our political prisoners. We must put pressure on the school system to teach about our political prisoners. We must put pressure on ourselves to continue to be educated consistently on our political prisoners, to spend time to write to political prisoners, right? Writing is not an easy task for me in particular, because if I'm writing a page or two, it might take me an hour or two to get that done because of the seriousness in which I take up writing, because I know that this is documentation. That long after I'm no longer here, that somebody's going to pick up my writings, and they're going to make an analysis based on what I said, and then they're going to make a decision on what did I say, what did it mean to them? How did it motivate them? If it motivated them at all. And right, this everything is not going to have the same effect on everybody, and that's why you got to continuously go through other people. Right, you might have 5 people looking at this podcast today, and then 10 people might look at it tomorrow. There may be 2 people after that day, but yet and still, it is evidence, it is documentation, it is ideas being presented to those who are interested in what's going on with political prisoners, and the fact that we need not forget about our political prisoners, that we have to be involved. We have to take a position. We have to be very serious about what's happening in the world that we live in. And we got to realize that sacrifices need to be made, that evaluations need to be made, and it has to be consistent, right? It has to be looked upon as, wow, what I'm doing is going to impact those who come after me. What I'm doing is what needs to be done because of the current situation, right? So when we look at Fannie Lou Hamer, this is the 60s, this is the 70s. She was young when she passed away, but we can always say that the conditions did not help in terms of how long she was going to live, and she was very aware about the possibilities of being injured because of her position. She's very aware about possibly losing her life because of her position. But love is a great power. Love is a force that allows us to continue to fight, us to be very aware about what needs to be done, and the fact that there is going to be a casualty in us being inactive in the role of our self-determination. Right? It's not like somebody's gonna come one day and say, okay, you don't feel like fighting today, I'll pick up the fight where you left off at. And that's why having a YouTube channel is very important to those who are grassroots organizers, because you have podcasts on a YouTube channel, or you can have any other format on a YouTube channel, but then it's documented, and those who are watching can share. Those who are watching can engage, and they can help the work. They can aid the work. They could do their part, right? They could do their part by making a comment. They could do their part by accepting the assignment. So those of you who are viewing right now, I ask that you accept the assignment of writing to Joy Powell, of writing to Imam Jamil El-Amin, of writing to Mumia Abu Jamal, of writing to Kamal Siddiqui, of writing to Kojo Bomani Sababu, of writing to Aziz Abdul, to writing to Malik Bey, to writing to Joseph Bowen, to writing to Fred Muhammad Burton. Because when we take up this task of writing back or writing to them first, we realize that we just opened up our lives, our world, to having a relationship with a political prisoner. You start to exchange ideas. You're spending time reading their letter, realizing that someone took the time to focus exclusively on you. They could do anything with their time, but that particular time when they spent writing, they were focusing on you. And when we start to internalize that, that is something that's sentimental. That is something that's dear to our hearts. This relationship now becomes like the relationship you have with any family member. You know how it is when you see a family member and you have a good relationship, and you're talking and you're sharing ideas, experiences, and you and this family member are making sure that the time that you spend is very, very appreciated, is very valued. You offer them something to drink, something to eat. Those are expressions of love. It's caring, it's generosity, is letting them know that you are appreciated. And that's exactly what a letter to a political prisoner does. It allows them to know that they are appreciated, that they are thought of, they're not forgotten. And just imagine how much it lifts them up. I know that when I read Ronald Reed's letter, I was in a good mood, but it put me in a great mood. It put me in a mood that confirmed that my work is appreciated and needed, right? Because if I don't write Ronald Reed, that's one less person involved, and that's one less opportunity that that person has of coming home. Because we need to look at each one of us as being an opportunity of a person going home. So if you have 10 people writing, 10 people participating, then those represent a possibility of this person coming home. Now, if those numbers double, now the chances of this person coming home increase, because these people are dedicating their time, bringing in creativity, are coming up with different ways in which the work should be done. And that's why I say your chances are increasing. And we need to see it that way, because we don't want to overlook the importance and the power of what we're doing. And that's exactly what Fannie Lou Hamer was about. She was about consistency. She was about different formations. She was about directing attention where it should be. She was about perseverance. She was about gratitude, right? Knowing that the work that she was doing is not work that's new. It's work that was done before. I know Fannie Lou Hamer was aware of Marcus Garvey and Harriet Tubman and those others who existed before or during that time. And she knew that that example was given to her for a reason. And she has to show appreciation by that example. And what's the best way, the sharpest way to show appreciation? Is participation. Participating in organized action, participating in demonstrations, writing for an article. Even if you write a post about political prisoners, that's your participation. That's you taking a position regarding a political prisoner. Because us not taking a position only says that these people are criminals. These people are not captured freedom fighters. These people are people who are engaged in criminal affairs. They're criminals, they're terrorists. We shouldn't just forget about them and just be happy with the lives that we have now and try to make our lives better. But truly, the only way our lives is going to get better is by our self-determination being protected, our understanding of what self-determination is, our right to exist on our own terms. We can't take our self-determination lightly. So with that being said, in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, stand up, fight back, participate. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Don't let political prisoners be forgotten. Don't let political prisoners be ignored.
Ever see Indians live proud and free before the oppressors' slavery? Black people in